Welcome to The Inside Source, the podcast that is everything sports marketing. From agents and athletes to large and small brands, we are your number one source for inspiration on how to work with athletes.
Hey, Kendyl, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Good. Should I block this out for you? What should we do here? Wham. You don't want to see that Georgia G, do you? How are you doing? Thanks so much for joining us. We'll kick right into it, okay? I'm Drew Butler. I'm your host. This is Icon Source's Inside Source Live. It's our live podcast that we've been doing on Instagram. I am so thrilled to be joined by Kendyl Lindaman. She's a University of Florida Gators softball star, three-time academic All-American, SEC champion. Just this past year, the Gators made it to the Super Regionals. I tell you what, Kendyl, I was watching some of those softball games on ESPN, ESPN2. It was hype in there. It was a lot of fun to watch. So thank you so much. Congrats on a fantastic career. Thanks for joining us. Go Gators, I guess. I'll say that. You guys looked up on us last year in football. But tell us a little bit about yourself to kick this off. Where are you from? And I know you just finished up your career, but congratulations.
Yeah, so I'm from Iowa. Ankeny, Iowa is kind of a suburb of Des Moines. My whole career was not at Florida. I actually played at Minnesota for 2 years.
Okay.
Then transferred to Florida my junior year in the spring, so midway through the year. And then finished out my career here. Obviously had a COVID year last year. Yeah, that one was tough. Decided to come back and then finished up my career here this year. And then I'll be actually coaching for the team next year as
All right.
a graduate student. So I got that position, so I'll be with them for another year.
That is fantastic. So awesome to hear. I'm glad you came back after the craziness that was COVID. You got to have somewhat of a normal senior year. Obviously, tons of fun winning the SECs, making it to the Super Regionals. So great choice on your part. All right, you transferred from Minnesota to Florida. Those are two different places. What was that like? I'd love to hear that breakdown.
It was very different. Obviously, with competition, very different. The SEC, it's just a different level. And I didn't realize that until I got there. But also, everyone obviously brings up weather. The weather is very different. I'm from Iowa, so I'm used to the cold, but the Minnesota is a different type of cold. It's pretty brutal, especially in the dead of winter. But then coming here, actually never got to play for a full year outside. At Minnesota, we practice in the indoor for most of the year. We'd maybe get practice for a couple months outside, depending on if it was snowing, if it was raining, really anything. So that was definitely different, but it was a big change, but I figured it out pretty fast.
You know, I think this is fascinating, and just thinking about you and your background and your resume and the success y'all had this year at Florida. We're going to talk about name, image, and likeness in a little bit, but you dot the board. Iowa, Minnesota, Florida. That's a lot of value in a lot of different places. And when y'all were kicking butt at the end of this season, that would have been a fantastic opportunity for you to make a little money, earn something off your name, image, and likeness. Unfortunately, that's not going to be allowed in the state of Florida until July 1st, but you're still going to be on staff. So you will be a huge influence for some of these girls to do it the right way. Let's talk about this season, okay? Before we get into the name, image, and likeness stuff. You guys were, 45-11? It's a pretty remarkable year, I think. I mean, that is an unbelievable season for Florida. You win the SECs. You make it to the Super Regionals. I mentioned it in the open. Fun to watch. How much fun was that, especially going through what y'all had to a year ago?
It was so fun. It was obviously a different year, but once we got into Supers and we got into, regionals, we had that home base that we were used to having. Obviously, throughout the year, it was very different, and we had, limited capacity. But once we got to regionals and Supers, it was just like we picked up when we left off, over a year ago. So that was really exciting. But as you said, just being at a place such as Florida, name, image, and likeness is just going to be a huge thing, especially for softball players at the University of Florida.
See, we really believe that at Icon Source. And I know a lot of people speak in hypotheticals, right? You read articles, there's a lot of negativity out there. All they talk about is Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and what Tim Tebow would have done. And it's only going to be the quarterbacks. And that's just not the case. I mean, we've got brands who are so excited to engage with people like you, Kendyl, to engage with female student athletes in the state of Florida, which was announced just a couple weeks ago. We've got a great company that's looking forward to offering opportunities and seeing if those girls would be interested in that. But this web is going to spread really wide. And you just mentioned it. When you were allowed to have full capacity at Florida and y'all were kicking butt and winning championships, people were supporting y'all. That's important to understand. They love to support winners. They love to support successful teams at their university. Speak about how you think it's going to impact the University of Florida softball team in just a few weeks. July 1st, this thing's going live.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that it's going to bring a lot more attention to the sport itself. Over the years, especially the last 5 years, how much softball has grown, and you've seen the stats from the World Series on the amount of viewers that they even have. So I think this is a huge thing to use the platform that we have to allow players to get the money from their name, from everything that they've, been going through. And like you said, I know I've always heard people say it's just going to be the quarterbacks of football and it's going to be the big football team. But that's not the case. You look at when you think of softball, you think of Florida. I mean, ever since I was a kid, that's always what I thought of. And just using that and using your name, image, and likeness from saying that you're a softball player at the University of Florida is really going to help the girls out on the team. But it's also going to bring more awareness to the sport of softball. It's going to bring in more fans. We're going to have people wanting to come to our games to see this person that they saw on Instagram, that they saw on Twitter, that they saw anywhere on TV. So I think it's going to be a huge step up for the sport itself and for female athletes.
No doubt. I'm up here in the Atlanta area, and softball's huge. I mean, I've got 2 girls right now. Bridget's 3, Kara's 1. I'm sure they will try softball when they're allowed to, and they'll look up to girls like you, Kendyl. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And you said it right. I mean, it is so important for that exposure to happen for softball, for people to really look forward to supporting y'all the right way now, the ways they haven't been able to in the past, and now it will be allowed as long as they do it the right way. And that's what we're thrilled to provide at Icon Source for amazing student athletes like yourself or whoever on the softball team or whoever at the University of Florida. So you're coming back. You're going to be a graduate student coach. That's really exciting. Now, did you have to sit through any educational courses? What was the messaging like for you before your playing time was over? I know it ended just a few weeks ago. Are you pretty well versed in the rule changes? Have they been telling you guys, here's how you position yourself, here's how you need to speak to brands, companies? What has that been like as a student athlete with this historic rule change coming in 2 weeks?
Florida's very good at keeping us up to date with the rule changes. I think we know the rule changes coming up. I definitely think that they're going to give us more information, especially when it goes into effect. I can definitely see that. And we understand it, but I know there's definitely going to be a Zoom meeting, especially from compliance. That's what we do here. We want to make sure that we have all the information so that we don't slip up. Obviously, in the past, you couldn't make money off of your, so we always had meetings every single year that were mandatory that we had to go to understand, hey, you can't get money being a student athlete or you will get in trouble. Mm-hmm. Something like that. They haven't brought it up yet, but it'd be something like that. Just telling student athletes what they can and can't do, because it's going to be a big deal, and I think it's great for people to be informed about what they can do, especially in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's going to come fast and furious. I mean, we're talking to brands right now, and they're like, hey, we're ready to go July 1st. We want to offer some opportunities because we respect these girls. We know that they have earned this. We are looking forward to do it the right way and see if they're interested. And that's what's going to be most exciting about July 1st. What are some of the things that you'll tell the girls on the team next year? And then I want to ask you a really important question. One question that I always get is this: do you think it will negatively impact the locker room? Look, I was a football player at Georgia, albeit a long time ago. I was in the NFL. I say no, I don't think so. I would love your thoughts on that. Do you think it's going to negatively impact the locker room? And what are some tidbits that you will give to the Florida Gators softball team next season?
I agree with you. I don't think it will. At the end of the day, it's still the same sport. This shouldn't change the game itself or the people themselves. I mean, there is going to be negative impacts. I'm not sure what they will be, but I don't think the locker room is going to be a thing. I think as long as the student athletes are knowledgeable about the topic itself and what they can do with it, I think they're going to be fine. And I think everything's going to work out. And as for giving advice to especially the athletes I'll be working with next year, I would say just to use their platform, especially being a softball player at Florida. We have a platform that most softball players don't have. And I say that they should, really use that to benefit themselves and to, get the word out about softball to other people that may not really understand the game, and just bring more fans in for the game itself.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great answer. I went to Georgia. You're at Florida. These are two universities that do anything they possibly can to elevate their student athletes, right? The resources that you have at your fingertips, the opportunities that are put in front of you, they want to make sure you succeed. It'll be no different in the NIL era, and they will make sure that everybody has a fair opportunity. And that's what we're looking to do at Icon Source. Everybody can create a profile. You can walk into that restaurant and say, hey, I love your restaurant. I come here. We've been winning. Let's do an Instagram post. It'd be awesome. Like those sorts of things happen now. And to your point, if women's Florida softball is going to the College World Series next year and people are making a little bit of money, I highly doubt anybody's going to be jealous of your teammates when you guys are going out there trying to fight for a ring. So love that insight, Kendyl. I think it makes total sense. You're from Iowa, so you have the name recognition there. You were at Minnesota. I know the Twin Cities are a bunch of fun, hopefully in the summertime. And then you're in Gainesville. So you have a pick of the litter. What are some of the brands that you would have loved to work with, endorse their products, talk about their restaurant? What are some of the brands that come to the top of your head, maybe in Gainesville, maybe up in Minneapolis, or back home in Iowa?
It's something I've really never thought of. I couldn't think of a specific brand that comes to my mind right now, but I when it comes to mind, I think anyone who's willing to take a chance on me, I'd be willing to work with them, because it's something, especially as female athletes, we don't get as many opportunities. So if someone's willing to take a chance on me, then I would love to work with them. I couldn't think of any specific brands or anything like that, but someone who is a fan of softball, loves to endorse female athletes, loves women's sports, and wants to, just give more recognition to them. That's someone that I definitely would be willing to work with.
That's perfect answer. I didn't send you these questions beforehand, did I, Kendyl? I mean, you are knocking it out of the park. 3-time academic All-American. And you bring up a great point. People do want to work with female athletes. They just don't know how. They don't know how to access them. They don't know what to offer them. Icon Source puts that at the priority of our entire company. We've got an initiative right now called 50 for 50. We are getting 50 brands, and we are well on our way to endorse 50 female athletes over a 12-month period. It's super exciting. Brands want to work with female athletes like yourself, Kendyl, like the Rockstar crew at Florida. Parker Roberts is on our team right now. She was a kick-ass player on the soccer team at Florida. She has been nothing but fantastic as well. I feel bad for you guys, because you guys could have utilized Icon Source and got a great head start, but I know that you're going to find all the success in the world. And Kendyl, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you this evening on Inside Source Live. Anything you'd like to add? You want to shout out Parker? I know she set this up for us. She's the best. We got a lot of people in here who are absolutely cheering you on, Kendyl. This is exciting. And Cheryl Killer Land says, I follow Kendall's lead on anything. Trust her. I agree. And Erica Roselle says, Kendall's the best. I agree. What do you got, Kendyl?
Nothing. Just thank you, Parker. She is such an amazing person and athlete. But I think this is just the start. I'm really excited with what you're doing, and I'm excited to see even what the athletes I work with next year get to do and the opportunities that are going to open for them. I do wish that I was able to still be playing and had these opportunities. But I think this is just the beginning, and I'm very excited. And I'm glad that this is finally coming into effect, and hopefully it's just going to build up our female athletes, our female sports. And I mean, at this point, they can do anything. So I'm really excited to see what goes on over the next year and future.
Awesome. Well, we could not agree with you more, Kendyl. Congratulations on going to grad school, on still working with the Florida softball team. If you need any help, reach out to us. We want to help your student athletes on the softball team at the University of Florida, wherever. Give Kendyl a follow on Instagram at Kendyl Lindaman. Players Trunk, what's going on? We had a lot of fun talking with the Players Trunk as well. And you can follow me too at Drew Butler, but most importantly, follow Icon Source at Icon Source. We're going to keep doing these Inside Source IG Lives. Kendyl, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. I'm going to say it again. Go Gators. It kind of hurts my heart, but we've really enjoyed speaking with you. So for Kendyl, I'm Drew Butler. Thanks for tuning in to Inside Source Live.
Thanks for listening to The Inside Source. Every week, hear what brands, agents, and athletes have to say about sports marketing. If you would like to reach me directly, you can email me, chase@iconsource.com. Have a great day.